We're rolling. Okay. It is April 17th, 2021, and here is your reading. Let me review your question really quick. Said last month you turned 65, the Ageless Goddess. I am open and ready for a real life partner. Intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. My guides tell me to just ask. So any insight or input you can offer is tremendously appreciated. I asked you kind of how you're planning on going about it. You said you're actively networking online and at social events. I begin each morning with gratitude for being blessed on this path. I acknowledge the divine feminine within, and I humbly appreciate the ability to give and receive. You gave me your number. Okay, and I think that's about it. Yes. Okay, great. So let me explain what I did. That number that you gave me, I used numerologically. So I I used it to draw a tarot card for you, and then also 2 oracle cards. Let me figure out, where's my notes? There's my notes. Okay, so for you, the tarot card was the 41st card in the deck. Okay, sorry, yeah, the 41st card in the deck, this is that. This is the 71st card in this deck, and that is the 17th card in that deck. So for the next few weeks, as you go about your life, see if these numbers manifest in some sort of way. 41, 41, 71, 17. So they might be, 17 could be a day of the month. So the 17th, anything less than 31 can always be the day of the month. 1917, I would say, would be unlikely unless you have like a relative maybe that was born in the year 1917 who might be about to offer you some advice. I doubt it would be someone born in 2017 because they would be basically unable to hold a conversation. But maybe something in 2017, a year, maybe that could be a thing. The other two, 41 and 71, so maybe someone born in 1941, someone born in 1971 might give you some advice, might cross your path. Or, it could be a highway, it could be an address, could be a telephone number, an area code, whatever. So you just kind of look out for those numbers, 41, 71, 17 for the next few weeks. So I use the oracle cards to set the tone for the reading. So let's start with those. And I like to save the tarot card that you drew for the end to just kind of sum up the reading. So we're going to kind of leave that one to the side. The Oracle card deck in the middle, it's 2 decks mixed together. It is the Gods and Titans deck and the Goddesses and Sirens deck, both by Stacey DeMarco and my favorite Oracle card illustrator, Jimmy Manton. And then this deck over here is the Shaman's Dream Oracle, which only came out 2 weeks ago. It is by Alberto Violdo and Colette Baron-Reid. So the Shaman's Dream Oracle. And oh, sorry, the tarot deck I'm using is the Smith-Waite tarot deck Borderless edition. The Centennial has borders. These are the borderless ones. So let's dig in. What do we got here? Hathor Contentment. Okay. And, Cosmic Moon, the Divine Feminine. Okay. So basically, these are really good. They're basically, I feel like these are trying to indicate that your journey on to find a life partner is totally in alignment with where you should be right now energetically and with your guides and all of that stuff. This is really great because basically contentment, I think this is, excuse me, this is going to be really about, the steps you're taking for contentment in life. This is obviously important to you since you asked for a reading about it. So yay, I think you're going to get what you want. Cosmic Moon, the Divine Feminine, you refer to yourself as a ageless goddess, right? And this is the divine feminine, that's you. So the cosmic womb also like kind of incubating things on a spiritual level here. And just the very fact that you called yourself ageless goddess, what I would say that, probably the strongest part of this oracle card is like the spiritual work that you're doing, working with your guides, the gratitude work that you're doing. Keep doing that. Keep incubating on a spiritual level, womb, right? Incubating in order to manifest this partner in your life. I think these are really positive cards. So awesome. So I think this is going to be a really positive reading. So let me go ahead and I'm going to pull 3 tarot cards for you to kind of just lay the foundation. Okay, let's see where things are. Okay. Interesting. So you got the death card reversed. I hope if you're not familiar with tarot, the death card does not have anything to do with death, so don't worry. Basically, the death card, it's about transformation. There's 22 cards in the major arcana. 13 is right about kind of in the middle of the journey, and it's basically kind of like the way a caterpillar has to die and go into a chrysalis and hibernate in order to transform into the butterfly. So basically, I would say that you're coming from a place, there's been some sort of recent times, there has been some sort of big transformation for you in your life where you've had to kind of become reborn in some way. It is probably painful or probably just a tough slog because it's a reversed card. By the way, the reversals I do in tarot, I read them as blocked energy, which could mean something was a tough slog, took a particularly long time, something like that. The energy is blocked somehow. So I feel that, you're coming from a place of transformation where you had to reinvent yourself in some way. It could actually be linked to all like the spiritual jargon that you used in your message to me. Maybe this is the birth of that, or a renewal of that, a refining of that maybe you had at an earlier stage of your life. You're like finding it again in order to embark on this journey for romantic fulfillment. So I feel like that's kind of where you're coming from in the present moment. We've got the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is all about nurturing new ideas, and there's also the the Queen of Swords also has the transformative aspect too that I was kind of mentioning with the Death card. And if you notice, like the crown that she's wearing is made of butterflies, in fact. So there's that. This is kind of like the transformation coming to fruition, right? Because the chrysalis is opened and now we have butterflies represented in this card, which I really like. The queens, stereotypically in tarot, are all about mastery of the energy of the suit. So the suit of swords is about air. It's about communication. So the sword is pointing straight upward in the case of the queen. There's no wavering. She knows what she wants, and it's about communicating it. So I think this kind of aligns with the work that you're doing right now, pointing towards the sky, communication towards the sky. It's the communication with your spirit guides, the gratitude, the spiritual work that you're doing. You have a mastery over that, and you're doing it in a nurturing way. Queens, when they are when they have mastery over their suit, they're doing it in a nurturing way and sort of a background, kind of like taking back and kind of taking things in and making a shrewd decision rather than a rash decision based on power or ego. So I like the energy of the Queen of Swords where you are right now. I think it just is trying to say that, hey, you're firmly established on the path. The fact that it's reversed might just be meaning that it's something like that's taking a little longer to come to fruition for you. There's something maybe about it that's hard for you. I don't think the way you talk, I would say that, like, I don't think you find spiritual work to be hard or meditation to be hard. So I don't think it's that. I think it might just be that you're putting a lot, maybe more energy into it than you anticipated having to do in order to bring this about. Something like that. But I like the card. Now you're coming to a place, you're coming to a Page of Swords. And so I feel like, the next steps, I think there's going to be some new ideas in your life. Again, so the pages, the swords are about communication, ideas, things like that. Sometimes it's about anxiety and depression when your thoughts are kind of overbearing. But I feel like you're kind of, there's this progression from the queen energy into page. So pages are like the debutante of the court. They are they're the young. They have this like young adolescent energy. They are messengers, so there might be some sort of new ideas coming to you in the form of a message from someplace, maybe even your spirit guide. So be on the lookout for a new message. But this could also just be that some idea that you've been brewing about. In terms of like the method that you're going to use in order to find your potential mate is maybe there's going to be a new idea about that, and it might be something where you haven't done it before, right? Because it's the pages are inexperienced. So I feel like you should be open to like either hearing a new idea from a friend about how to go about finding your mate, or maybe you'll come up with this idea on your own in conversation with your spirit guides or through spiritual work or whatever. But there's going to be some sort of newness, and it's not going to be an experience. It's not going to be something you're experienced with. I think it's basically saying that, hey, that's where you're headed. There's going to be new stuff. So I like it. Now, I want to look at the two ways the two things that you're already doing. So you said you're networking online and at social events. So even the phrase social event is almost foreign to me since we've been in a pandemic so long. Like, what is a social event? For all I know, that means you could have like a knitting group, but it's online in Zoom. And I know people in a Zoom knitting group, so I'm not like being facetious. I mean, that's really happening right now. So, or like, whatever. It's like, it could be virtually. Well, actually, you said online and at social events. So maybe you're in a place where, because I don't even know what country you're in. You could be in like, for all I know, you're in New Zealand or something, and like things are or Australia, and things are open where you are. Because like I'm in the U.S. and things are kind of still pretty closed down. So so maybe you live in a place where things are open and you can do real social events. So I want to look at the energy of meeting people online. I'm going to draw a card for that. Meeting people at social events, and since I've kind of worked it out now, I'm thinking that means in real life, like not over Zoom. And then, you know what, I'm going to pull a card, especially since the page, I'm going to pull a card for like a third possibility. Maybe there's a third option. And let's just take a temperature read on those 3 avenues for finding a mate. Or I shouldn't say mate. What did you say? You said life partner. So whatever that means to you. So that's online. It's going to be at social events. And this one is going to be a third option that maybe isn't on the radar, or just maybe it's on your radar, but you didn't mention it to me in your message. So let's see. Ooh, okay. Total you have 4 major arcana cards. So I think last month I just turned 65. So like 65 is a big age, right? It's like it's seen as a milestone age. And the fact that you've got 4 major arcana cards and the other 2 are court, huge time in your life. This is basically a milestone moment in your life. So as you in the future, decades ahead, you're going to be looking back at this as a huge transition point or a huge significant moment in your life. So this is kind of exciting, right? Excuse me. So basically, I'm about to sneeze. Maybe not. Okay, maybe not. No, I'm gonna sneeze. No, I can't decide if I'm gonna sneeze. Okay. All right, so it's allergy season, sorry. So basically for online, you got the moon, which is one of my favorite cards. So the moon is a very feminine card since you called yourself the Ageless Goddess, right? And we got this the cosmic womb, divine feminine over here. I feel like the online bodes really well for you for a couple of reasons. So there is the evolutionary aspect of the moon. So you can see that the crayfish here is crawling out of the primordial waters, and it's like approaching a path that leads into the distance. And one of the challenges, like sort of mythological challenges, is it has to pass through these 2 beasts that are far larger than it, and then it passes through these towers on the way to the moon. So like, I think online, maybe you are not big on technology, and so like even just doing anything online feels like a lot of labor to you. So that could be part of like forcing you to evolve in a new direction. Might be just adopting technology to meet humans, which might be counterintuitive to you, something like that. So I think that might be the indicator of the moon here. It's right side up though. I think it's totally possible. I think it bodes well for what you're trying to accomplish. The other aspect of the moon is, the moon in real life, right? The moon, there's the man in the moon. And the reason why there is a man in the moon is because the same face of the moon is always pointed towards Earth. So that means that we always on Earth see one side of the moon, and that means the other side is always hidden, right? So the hidden side of the moon is intuition, right? Intuition is a very feminine thing because women are in touch with their intuitions stereotypically, and men typically are not, right? If we're just going to go on gender stereotypes. So I feel like the other thing about moon and online dating or online or whatever, you just said online networking. So you might not be on a dating site per se. So whatever you meant by online, I think there might be an element that resonates with you in terms of using your intuition, either by reading energy of people when you see their photographs, or picking up on something where it's like really wired into you and using your intuition there. So the moon bodes well for the online. The hermit, I'm gonna say on a literal perspective, the hermit is about someone who's being alone. And if you're social networking in real life and you get a card about being alone, that doesn't bode so well. However, I mean, the Hermit overall is a positive card. So the Hermit, you're going to have to interpret this. If what I'm about to say doesn't make any sense to you, I would read the Hermit as like a, you know, you might be doing a lot of social networking, but maybe you're still going to end up being alone from the social networking, right? However, this could also mean that you are an introvert, right? So the Hermit, if a Hermit is really about your being an introvert and not being able to function well in a crowd, or having to summon an enormous amount of energy in order to hang out in a crowd for the evening, like you're going to dread it, you're going to have to force yourself to do it. Maybe you'll be okay once you get there, but like, you know, that sort of introvert sort of energy, that's another interpretation of this. However, if those things don't resonate with you, I would say that what the Hermit might be is about the fact that, you know, the Hermit has been a recluse for a while in order to meditate, reflect, do stuff like that, and develop like basically gain a new insight into himself, right? So you can see that like the lantern contains a light, right? And that's the light that, you know, that the insight that he's gotten in his period of reflection, meditation, or whatever that, seclusion, whatever that might have been. One of the interesting parts about the Hermit to me is the fact that, you know, that light, that all that insight, well, what is he doing? He's holding it out at a distance. So although he might have had the insight, that insight is not integrated into his soul yet. It's external to him still, right? So if for some reason, you know, the social networking, let me find your email. Oh, you said social events. I'm using the phrase social networking, but you know, you said social events, so going to social events. So I think like if you're choosing social events based on something that you put a lot of thought into or whatever, maybe that this is like an indicator that, you know, you're right on, you've got the information, but something about it is still maybe not super intuitive to you, super feeling natural, because like all of the energy or whatever you set up, or the insights that you gained in order to do this sort of these social events or identify the social events, it's not fully integrated into your core being yet. So there's something, I feel like it's not as strong, right? It's not, I mean, it's still a major arcana card. It's still right side up. I feel like that the social, it's still good. I feel like though that the online for you, for some reason, is a lot stronger. It's a lot more well developed. This is also the 9. This is the 18. So this is like, actually, it's a double, right? So 9, 18. So this is like twice as far on the journey, and in terms of development or maturity or something like that, than this card. So I feel that's like the numbers too are boding well over there. Now, the Devil, I'll just tell you, the fun one is great sex. So I usually don't use the Devil to mean great sex, but I don't know if you like to be promiscuous or anything, but maybe there's a third option out there that can get you some great sex. But whatever that is, whatever the third option is, it is reversed. It's going to be like a harder row to hoe, shall we say? But the third option, the Devil, what I would think that this is there might be some third options that you've already considered and maybe ruled out, or there are some third options. This could actually mean bars too, like because like there's one of the aspects of the Devil is like alcoholism. So like I don't know if there's something that you don't want to do because there's going to be a lot of alcohol involved, like going to a bar or drinking or something like that, and maybe that doesn't appeal to you. That could be the third option, and the reversedness is like you kind of feel icky. But you know, there's a really basic piece of the Devil which I think could just resonate because it's general, right? So the thing about the Devil that I really like is if you look at the two figures that, you know, are below the Devil, they're chained to the pillar upon which the Devil is sitting, and they're chained around their necks. But if you look really carefully at the chains, they're loose, right? They could just lift those chains off their necks, just lift them over their heads, and they can leave. So, but they're kind of stuck in this position by their own minds, basically. So I feel like The other possibility for this card, that there's a third option for you out there, is that, you know, the only reason why you think X, Y, and Z, whatever friends have been suggesting to you, whatever it is, there's something that's holding you back that's in your own head, and you can totally make this work if you want to. And it's like the reason why it wouldn't work is you. And the way you relate to the idea that maybe someone had, the way you feel about it. I feel like that there could be like these other possibilities. They're out there. They're going to be tough for you because I think you're holding yourself back. So there are other possibilities there. Because the devil's usually kind of a negative card too. So it's like you may not be in a position to get over whatever it is that would be holding you back from these suggestions from friends, this other path that you don't want to explore because you're afraid or whatever. The fear, if it's about fear, the devil's telling you that the fear is unfounded. The fear is holding you back, and you have the ability to take the chain over your head and unchain yourself and move along in that direction. But it's going to be tough though, right? It's reversed. So, but anyway, think about that, reflect on it. Great thing to journal with, talk to the spirit guides, stuff like that. And consider it, right? Just consider it because you did get a major here. So, but again, that one looks the best, looks the easiest, looks like it's intuitive for you. So either intuitive for you or like it will be intuitive for you once you make that evolutionary step to make it feel intuitive to you. I don't think I'm going to draw any more cards. I feel like we got so much information from all these majors and stuff. Let's look at the card that you drew and see, kind of sum up and kind of see what it's all about from the card that you drew. Wow, actually, so you got the Eight of Wands. So basically, I'm going to say that you know, you should expect something. So first of all, the basic meaning of the card is two things for me. Like that there's a speed aspect. Things are flying through the air. These are projectiles that are flying through the air. And if you notice, they're all aligned, right? They're in perfect alignment. They're all parallel. So that means they're all on target. So basically things are moving quickly. Things are on target. And this is the card that you pick. So this is really huge for the reading. So I would say like you're going to make some progress here, and you're going to be like, for what you want, like you're going to be on target for what you want, and things should happen quickly. So that is an awesome card. It bodes really well. So super positive reading. I think so given the fact that things are moving quickly, that kind of colors what I was saying about the devil to me, which is that, you know, if you're having trouble, like if there's a third option out there and it's going to be difficult for you and you're kind of like holding yourself back or anything like that because of fear or because of just the way you feel or some ideas that you're holding, it's looking like you probably are going to have success. You don't have to face that. Like you've done enough homework already, right? You've done enough already. So these options, I feel like it might not matter. Like that there's other things that you could be doing, because I feel like, you know, the things that you're already talking about are going to pan out for you, because things should be happening quickly, be on target and in alignment with your will, right? Because, you know, the basic definition of the wands, the suit of fire, is will. The alignment of the 8 wands, that means there's an alignment with your will of what's kind of flying through the air, all the stuff that's churning right now. So yay, positive outcome. This is really overall a very positive reading. So lucky you. So you are definitely what was the phrase that you used? My computer went to sleep. The Ageless Goddess. It's time for you to be the Ageless Goddess. Awesome. So like I always say, like tarot does not predict the future because you have free will. I think basically, I'm hoping all of this just kind of affirms things that you already knew, right? Deep down, you already felt that this was like a significant period, and this was the turning point in your life on this level, on the level of finding your life partner. So good luck to you, and I hope this was useful, and I hope you enjoyed the reading.